All right, we are here to do sophomore enrollment. I am hopeful that this video will help you understand your course options so that you can make selections and then come, of course, visit me in my office if you have any questions. So, you all are the sophomore class next year, and so you're the class of 2025. Let's see if I can get this to move on. Graduation requirements. These have not changed. So, to graduate in the state of Missouri at East Buchanan, you're going to need 4 communication arts credits, 3 social studies credits, world history, which you should be in right now, American history your sophomore year, and American government your junior year. You'll need 3 math credits, 3 science credits, a half credit of health, which you should have completed or be completing this semester as a freshman, 1 PE type of credit, which would be PE or weights for the full year, a half credit of personal finance, which you'll take as a sophomore, 1 practical art credit, 1 fine art credit, 11 elective credits for a total of 28 credits to graduate. So, as a freshman, by the completion of this semester in May, you should have completed 1 language arts credit in LA1. You should have completed 1 social studies credit in world history. 1 science credit would be biology 1. 1 math credit would either be algebra 1A, algebra 1.1, or geometry. 1 PE credit, which would be PE or weight training, a half credit of health, and 2.5 additional elective credits. If you've done this, I would consider you on track. If you failed a course, especially a core or required course, you will need to take that into account in planning your sophomore year, and you will have to retake that class. So, um, that is something to keep in mind. I also would like to reiterate that if you did not complete your fine art or practical art requirement in your freshman year, you should try and plan that in for your sophomore year. Especially those of you that are interested in Hilliard should make sure that you get your fine art completed in your freshman or sophomore years. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. Graduation goals. Um, So at East Buchanan, at graduation, we will recognize kids for their academic achievement based on their cumulative GPA. So those that are in the highest group, the summa cum laude group, will have graduated with a 4.0 GPA or better. Those in the next group will be the magna cum laude group, and that's a 3.87 to 3.99. And those in the cum laude group will graduate with a 3.75 to 3.86. We will recognize one valedictorian and salutatorian. Aside from that, no rank will be provided. And you will have the option of earning a regular diploma or an academic diploma. The academic diploma requires a 3.0 GPA or better, a completion of Spanish 1, and 5 advanced electives. And the advanced electives list includes so many things that usually it's an issue of GPA or having taken Spanish that would keep you from getting the academic diploma. Next year as a sophomore, there are some classes that we will automatically put all sophomores into. So everyone will get LA2, everyone will get American history, everyone will take personal finance and ACT prep, and those are semester long and will rotate with one another. Everyone will take a math course based on your math track. If you're in Algebra 1A, you'll take Algebra 1B. If you're in Algebra, let's see, 1.1 or geometry, you're going to take Algebra 1.2 as a sophomore. And all sophomores are going to take chemistry. Options, these are the classes you're going to get to select. So for sophomores practical arts options, we have Ag Science 2 to continue on. From those of you that have completed Ag Science 1, you could take Ag Science 2. We have some business options that are going to be a little bit different this year. We have the business management and business technology class. That's the same one that's been available before, but that's open to you now as a sophomore. We also have accounting 1. You do have to have completed at least algebra 1 with a B plus or better to get into that as a sophomore. We also have a basic business, and we're coupling that with business math. So these are semester long classes that you could take with Mr. Lewis. And then we're going to make business law that was previously coupled with basic business. We're going to make business law a full year class. And so those are business classes that you could take: business management, business tech, accounting, basic business, business math, and business law. These are all in the business department. And then the facts department, we have the entrepreneurship and family living. These are 2 semester-long classes, entrepreneurship and then family living. We have nutrition and general foods, which is the cooking class. We have the child development class, semester 1, semester 2, but it's kind of a package deal. All of these kind of are. We also have the hospitality and tourism management program that you could start taking. That is a certificate level class that you can take, and if you complete the first and second course, it would be like if you started sophomore year, you'd take the second one your junior year, and there's some requirements of that program for completion, but you would have a certificate in that area when you were finished. With more questions, if you have any more questions about the FACS classes, you should talk to Miss Elms. And of course, we know we should talk to Mr. Wilson about ag classes, and I referenced Mr. Lewis regarding the business classes. So if you have not yet completed your practical art requirement, you really should do that in your sophomore year if at all possible. In the fine arts area, if you haven't yet completed your fine art requirement, you really do need to schedule something in your sophomore year, especially for my friends that might be interested in Hilliard's. So if you haven't taken Art 1 already, you could take that. If you have taken Art 1, you could continue on to Art 2. You can take band. Generally, kids are going to be in that all the way through and won't just pick it up as a sophomore, but that would be something you could talk to Mr. Deddy about. We also have men's choir and women's choir and drama, and then music appreciation. And for those of you that are uncomfortable doing art or being in one of the more performance-based classes, music appreciation might be the best way to get your fine art requirement met. Again, if you've not gotten that fine art requirement and you're thinking about Hilliard's, it's extremely important that you get that done in your freshman or sophomore years. Spanish, you could start taking Spanish in your sophomore year, take Spanish 1. If you've already taken Spanish 1, you could move on to Spanish 2. And I want to be clear again that 1 year of Spanish is a requirement for the academic diploma. PE. PE is a credit, again, that these classes you can repeat year to year for credit, kind of like band. So you could take the physical education class, that's kind of like team sports and what I would think of in a like traditional kind of PE type class. We have weight training, which obviously spends a lot of time in the weight room. And this year we're also going to have an option of advanced health with Mr. Knox. Very likely it will be doing some additional health kind of work in the classroom coupled with other PE types of activities. So that's kind of a hybrid class that we think some of you would really enjoy. So we're going to see about that. We also have a STEM class that is an application course. I actually don't think we're going to do that for science credit this year. Thinking of the future, as you're a freshman going into your sophomore year, it's important to keep your plans for the future in mind. We will talk during your sophomore year a lot about Hilliard's, but the major thing that you can do at this stage of the game is to make sure that you're passing all of your classes. And we'll do a Hilliard visit um, soon in the new year, usually by Christmas break, which may not sound like soon to you, but it does to me. So we will do Hilliard's visits in your sophomore year. And for those of you planning on dual credit as an upperclassman, it's important that you keep your GPA up and focus on making sure that you're going to be eligible for those classes you might be interested in. And also, some of the colleges have some minimum ACT subscore requirements for some of the dual credit classes. So, of course, it's important that you start considering taking the ACT. And if you have questions about any of these things, you can always come and visit with me and I will answer any questions. Like I kind of talked about, it's very important that you take the ACT. For some of you, it's once you get through geometry, but for some of you that maybe, so some of you as freshmen that are in geometry, it wouldn't be a bad idea to take the ACT in April of your freshman year even. But those that are headed to college, it is just very important that you take the test several times to get the best score that you can, more for the purposes of scholarships than anything else as we move forward. So hopefully now, if your teacher has not had a chance, hopefully now we can pause real quick and get the forms to you. You should have kind of a lavender form, and that's the sophomore course selection because you will be a sophomore next year. And so the first thing, if you want to pause now, we'll pause for a second. Okay, now everyone should have their courses, the course selection sheet in front of them. It is super important that you turn to the second page and put your full first and last name on the form right now. If you turn back a form with no name on it, it doesn't help me help you at all. So please do get your name on that. Be sure when you're filling out the form to include the course numbers. So on the you're going to see a table, and after you've put your name in, there's a little bit of writing, but then in the table, there's choice 1 is LA2, and there's a course number, and it's 1 credit. Choice 2 is American History with its course number and credits. Choice 3 is Chemistry 1, course number and credits. And then Personal Finance ACT Prep. And then you're going to fill in your math course that you'd be in next and put the correct course number there, and it'll be 1 credit. And then the rest is filling out your elective choices. So we're going to want to make sure that the credits at the top of the dark bar add up to 8. And then I would also like you to provide me some alternate classes that if I can't make the electives you're choosing above fit with your combination of classes that you'd be willing to take or interested in, so that I have some alternate options. That's why they're called alternate choices. So on the back of that page is a sample 4-year plan that you could fill in, but it's more informative for you to. We went through this activity together earlier in the year as well, but um, something to think about. I also have a video on my counseling page that kind of goes through the 4-year plan if you have questions there. Um, and I think that covers everything. If you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I'm in my office and you can reach me through email. Some things are easier to ask in email and some are easier to ask in person. But I'm in here most of the time. So come visit me in my office and we can chat about any questions you have. I would love to have these in hand by Friday, February 11th. So that I can start my data entry process and start working on the master schedule. I'm a little behind this year, but you can turn those in directly to me or put them in my box in the workroom. And like I said, any questions, you just come visit with me anytime. I hope this was clear and informative. And like I said, I'll look forward to fielding your questions. Thank you.